welcome to our English news edition, broadcast to you by Canal Algérie. To the headlines. Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman chairs a government meeting during which several points are examined and presentations made by the participating ministers. More than 47,000 new cases of cancer are recorded annually, and the national strategy to fight this illness is strengthened by an anti-cancer center in Miria, a project due to be finalized by the beginning of the 2025. And we will later talk about the olive cultivation in Mascara, which takes up a huge part of the family's history and traditions. And we will wrap up our news with the beautiful landscapes of Timimon province, and we will also discover together its castles and its rich history. Good evening, those were today's top stories. First in our news, and in today's news, it is with the government meeting chaired on Wednesday by Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman. The government examined several points, including a draft bill on the protection and preservation of state lands presented by the Justice Minister. This bill, which was initiated on the instruction of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, provides a new legal device that should allow to fight against the illicit construction projects. For his part, the Minister of Labour and Employment presented two draft legislative texts. The first is related to the organizations and exercise of the trade union right as part of the implementation of the President of the Republic's instructions. The second is related to the prevention and regulation of the collective labor conflicts. The government then listened to a presentation made by the Minister of Energy on the roadmap for the development of the hydroelectric sector in Algeria, the aim of which is to diversify the energetic supply, reinforce the energetic security, as well as the reduction of the country's carbon footprint. Later on, the Minister of Fisheries also made a presentation which listed the main actions carried out since 2020, in addition to the prospects of the set objectives for 2023-2024. In other news, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, Ramtala Mamra, takes part in Niamey in the African Union's Executive Council meeting organized in anticipation of the Extraordinary Summit for Industrialization and Economic Diversification in Africa, slated for the 25th of November. Ramtala Mamra put forward Algeria's experience and stressed the importance of accelerating the industrialization process in Africa. On the sidelines of the Executive Council, the Foreign Minister Ramtala Mamra met with the former President of Niger, Mahamadou Issoufou, as well as with several of his African counterparts, namely of Ethiopia, Chad, Niger, Zimbabwe, and Senegal. The discussions tackled the relations between Algeria and these brotherly countries and the prospects for their consolidation and promotion. In a different context, the Speaker of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali, made a statement during a study day on parliamentary friendship, where he stressed that parliamentary diplomacy became one of the important pillars in the diplomatic activity and an extension of the dynamism granted by the President of the Republic to the Algerian diplomacy. On this occasion, deputies who occupy qualitative positions in international and regional parliamentary bodies were honored.
Groups as one of the main pillars of the parliamentary diplomatic action because it contributes to the reinforcement of bilateral relations and to the deepening of coordination of dialogue and consultation with our brotherly countries in different sectors for the benefit of our foreign policy and the countries' best interests. The action of this parliamentary group must be integrated in a strategy with defined and clear goals.
دون أن يكون عمل هذه المجموعات محكوم باستراتيجية محددة الأهداف.
In other news, the remains of the late Mujahid, former minister and diplomat Jamal al-Din Hoho arrived on Wednesday to the Houari Boumdine International Airport in the presence of the Minister of Mujahideen, Al-Eid Erbika. And a French delegation consisting of elected representatives of the Republican Communist Group and the French Communist Party in the city of Lyon is now on a visit to Algeria to discover its historical and cultural monuments. The delegation visited on Wednesday the Oudin Square located in the capital, Algiers. And this Wednesday was marked by the beginning of the meeting of the Observatory of the Architectural and Urban Heritage in the Arab countries. The 7th edition saw the participation of experts, specialists, as well as representatives from 22 countries. On the occasion, the Culture Minister indicated that this meeting represents an opportunity to unify the efforts in order to be up to the challenges that face the cultural identity. To a different story now, and in order to help cope with the growing number of the cases of cancer, a project of an anti-cancer center in Miria is due to be finalized by 2025. More details with Najah Diyar.
The Oncology Department of the University Hospital Center Mohammed Boudiaf is a real ray of hope for cancer patients in Miria province. Here the patients are being well taken care of, and with the increase in cases it becomes essential to create new structures to accommodate the large number of patients, mostly for who must follow a very heavy and restrictive treatment. I have been suffering for 5 years. Fortunately, the treatment is available here. After the breast cancer test, the doctor told me that I had breast cancer, and since I'm breastfeeding, they started treatment with chemotherapy. Then I had it removed and I still have the radiotherapy. Approximately 180 new cases of breast cancer are recorded annually, 223 new cases per year for other cancer forms. And in order to provide a quality care for the patients in the region, a cancer treatment center meeting the international standards is being realized. This project was suspended, and following the instructions of the President of the Republic, the blockage was lifted. The duration of this project is approximately 30 months. The project will be delivered at the beginning of 2025. This project is very important. It is an achievement for the health sector in Miria province. A financial envelope of 500 billion centimes have been allocated to the realization of this project. An important achievement that will extend the therapeutic prospects through diagnosis and precision treatment for cancer patients. Once commissioned, this center will provide care for all patients in Miria province and the neighboring regions.
Moving on to the western province of Mascara, more precisely in the region of Sig, where the cultivation of olives is a well-known profession passed down from generation to generation, making the olive production there the best in terms of quality. Melissa Kubash tells us more.
The region of Sig is a region known for its variety of olives, which grow on large areas. Its table olives are of high quality and are the most popular in Algeria. In here, the olive growing profession is passed down from father to son, as it is the case with the Abdel Qadir family that has been in this field for several years. I've been in this profession since 1991. As for my father, since 1963. The first step of the olive conservation is the sorting according to colors: green, purple, and black. The region is witnessing a great activity in this field. There is more than 200 units of conservation and transformation at the level of Mascara province. Here, the olives are selected, cleaned, and treated in brine. Every employee is in charge of one of these steps so as to present a good quality product for the consumer. The olives go through many steps, but first we take off the leaves, then we sort them and add water and salt to them. We put the olives in a well-closed bucket to avoid air from getting inside. With the beginning of the harvest, the production rate of olives dedicated for the market reached 90% of the global production, estimated at 600,000 quintals of Sigwa's olives produced annually.
To the Algerian south, more precisely in Timimoun, where more than 200 varieties of dates are cultivated and marketed across the country. In this report compiled by Walid Yousfi, we will discover together 2 farms specialized in this field. Commentary by Najah Tayyar.
As father as son, Boubacar, with his farming skills, now owns his own agricultural farm in Oulad Isa in Timimoun province. With these 3 hectares of land, he cultivates around 20 varieties of dates. Boubacar foresees a harvest of more than 16 quintals for this season. We have several varieties of dates, such as Tin Nasser, Lahmira, and most widespread Taqrbush. This year's harvest is quite good compared to the last year. The production is linked to the size and age of the date palm. The larger the palm is, the more it produces. In this farm in Oulad Isa, it's time to harvest. Najm has owned his land for about 40 years. He's counting on a production of more than 17 quintals of dates this season. In this piece of land, we have several varieties of dates. The most popular type is Al-Hamira. These dates are highly demanded in the region because it's imperishable and keeps its taste and nutritional values. Taking more than a year, the harvest is done between September and November, but later we have some problems to market it. The date industry is, however, experiencing a slight delay in the region due to the lack of investors. No processing factory nor packaging units. All this shapes a difficult situation for farmers. We need support, particularly concerning the storage, transport and marketing of dates. You should also know that there is no processing units in the whole region. There are very good other varieties that require many conditions, such as transportation, that cannot be fully insured. That is why we need to support these farmers, and we need also investors who are able to invest in the field at the level of this province. A call for investment in this sector is therefore to be launched. Timimoun province produces more than 200 varieties of dates with a forecast production that exceeds 389,000 quintals for this season.
In a different story, and as part of the fight against organized crime and the scourge of drug trafficking in our country, detachments of the National People's Army, in coordination with the various security services, arrested 50 drug traffickers and foiled attempts to introduce huge quantities of drugs amounting to 14 quintals and 50 kilograms of treated cannabis, in addition to 25 kilograms of drugs and approximately 49,000 psychotropic tablets, in an operation carried out throughout the military regions in the border with Morocco. And in the context of the fight against terrorism, the report issued by the Ministry of the National Defense mentions that detachments of the National People's Army arrested 7 support elements for terrorist groups in separate operations across the national territory, and that in Tamarasset, Burj Baji Mukhtar, Ingazam, Janet and Tindouf. Also, the National People's Army's detachment intercepted 98 individuals and seized 39 vehicles, 149 generators, 66 jackhammers, 13 metal detectors, 8 tons of a mixture of raw gold and stones, in addition to detonation tools and equipment used in illicit gold mining operations. The report added that 18 other individuals were arrested and 11 rifles, 2 automatic pistols, and quantities of foodstuffs intended for smuggling and speculation amounting to 130 tons, as well as 53,000 packets of tobacco and almost 18,000 units of various drinks were seized during separate operations in Tibissa, Suqahras, Taraf, and Tamarasset. 123 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were also arrested across the national territory. It is worth noting that these quality results reflect the high professionalism, vigilance, and permanent availability of our armed forces throughout the national territory. In another development, the European Parliamentary Intergroup of Solidarity with the Sahrawi people held a meeting in Strasbourg. On the occasion, presentation was made by the representative of the Polisario Front in Europe and the European Parliament, Ubi Bushraya Bashir, on the latest developments in the Western Saharan conflict. The meeting was held on the sidelines of the plenary session of the European Parliament. To Palestine now, where a Palestinian child was killed on Tuesday night by bullets of the Zionist army fired in Nablus in the occupied West Bank. Ahmed Amjad Shahida, 16 years of age, fell to the ground while 23 others were injured during the Zionist attack. In an attempt to further evict the Palestinian people out of their territories, the occupation forces continue to demolish houses and buildings, including a primary school located in Al Khalil, and about 30 families of a neighborhood located in eastern Al Quds received an eviction notice despite having a document that shows that the land belongs to them. Back to local news and to Timimun province, but this time we are about to discover the beauty of this red oasis, its qsur or castles, in addition to its rich history. Report by Walid Yousfi, taken up by Melissa Gavar.
Timimun, or the Red Oasis, a city that allows us to travel through time. As impossible as it might sound, it can be possible, and this through its qsur, architecture, traditions, and of course, its legendary hospitality. Timimun offers a live culture, and I offered this beautiful experience to my friends so they can discover the cultural richness of the region. Just like many others, Abdelhadi fell in love with the city 40 years ago. Since then, he regularly visits the region to relax and enjoy what this magnificent city has to offer. In here, you'll find a little bit of everything. For example, some tourists enjoy the views, while others are more interested in the rich culture. Timimun offers a variety of touristic sites for its guests, plus Al-Ahalil music. A melodious sound registered on the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity by the UNESCO. The region is very rich. We try to valorize these touristic sites, namely the oasis and the dunes. And as you know, there is a festival by the end of the year. It will last for a week, alongside several activities scheduled during the event.
Et donc, pour la Halil aussi, on a presque toute une semaine où il y a plusieurs activités organisées en la matière.
This city will always be a privileged destination, especially during the period of Saharan tourism. With so many sites, traditions, and culture to offer, visitors can only wish for their trip to never end.
And with these beautiful images, we come to the end of our today's program. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye.